All right. Well, welcome to the latest episode of The Meaning of Money, a live show for founders, investors, and families who have already made money and are now focused on what wealth should actually make possible. I'm the host, Stefan Whitwell, the founder and CEO of Whitwell and Company, and each episode explores what comes after financial success: freedom, family, health, wealth, purpose, investing, and legacy. And I'm excited to have today a special guest all the way from Lima, Peru, Diego Alfageme. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Stefan. Thanks for the invitation. I'm happy to be here.
So, Diego, tell us a little bit about what you're building in Lima, Peru.
Amazing. I have like three hats, but my main work is being managing partner of ADNBC, which is a venture capital fund that focuses specifically in fintech and real estate tech, which are the topics that we know, and pre-seed and seed all around LATAM. We're investing so far 12 startups, and we're looking to make a 25 startups portfolio. That's my main role. But also, I'm a consultant in Habitat for Humanity, where I promote social housing through entrepreneurship and technology. Plus, I'm a professor in my university. I'm teaching venture capital and due diligence, actually. So everything
Very
is
much
related.
a very much a Renaissance man wearing multiple hats, as so many of us do today. And you're a dad, right?
Yes, that with my kid running around, my wife is covering me.
I would argue that's probably your most important hat.
True, true. It's like 50, 60%, and then you have the remaining for everything else.
That that's right. So I'm really excited about our conversation today. It's because I think a lot of the issues that humanity faces, whether we're as dads or entrepreneurs, affect us regardless of whether we're in Austin, Texas, which is where I sit, or Lima, Peru, which is where you are, or other parts of the world. So I appreciate you making time today to jump on the show. Tell me a little bit about for you, what did when did money stop being about security for you and start being about meaning?
Well, first there's the A1 layer, which is basic needs, right? Drinking, eating, having a good house where to live. After that, you have the what you want to leave to your children, right? Wealth, net worth, a house which is a trust for them. But then there's a lot of people that they start to get more and more and more, and they lack the meaning. The third layer is the hardest one, because now you don't need to do something for your family or for you to get a meal. Now you need to do it for your inner me.
Mm.
And it's tough to know what you really like, no? But I mean, I think the goal is to work in something that you like, that you would be happy to do it without even a payment.
I love that. And when you think about, the first guy that jumps to my mind is Elon Musk, right? I mean, in interviews, he said, "Look, I'm not doing this because I want the money. I'm doing this because I really love the problem. I love trying to figure it out." Um, and and interestingly enough, I read a book by Keith Richards from the Rolling Stones. The old. I mean, he looks like he's 200 years old, and very interesting guy. And I never thought, not the kind of book I would normally read, but I somehow was gifted this book and started reading it, and it was an amazing book. And one of the most touching parts of the book for me was, early on, and when he and the others in the band were starting out, they didn't have any money. They were living on couches. They didn't have health insurance. They didn't know where their next meal was going to come from. But he describes a joy and a happiness that they had, because they would spend 8 hours trying to find that perfect sound on the guitar, or that perfect rhythm or something that they were playing with musically that day, and that joy of loving what they're doing really comes through. And so I think what you're saying, Diego, is rings true for me, resonates for me, because when you are doing something that you love doing, there's just a deeper satisfaction and value that comes to you from that money can't buy.
Yes, and actually, now that I rephrase the question, like for the past 10 years, I have been like working to to raise enough capital to sustain my family. Now that I have raised ADN fund and I have the money in the bank, the purpose comes because now I need to find those 25 startups that really amaze me, and I'm really passionate about those, and that's the hardest part. Like now that I have the money, everybody would say like, that's the tough part. No, the tough part is to invest it correctly
Yeah.
and get a return for your colleagues and fellow workers.
Let me ask you about that. So, how many of I'm sure you look at a lot of different founders before making an investment in your venture fund. Um, how many of the founders that you're evaluating, percentage wise, how many of them are doing it because they love doing what they're doing versus doing it to try to get rich?
I think that it's a 60-40 at least. More people are doing it for money than purpose. But it's true that just like the upper 20%, 10% has the ability to seek for purpose, because the other 80% they're paying the debts and taxes and stuff. Uh, but I would say, that's the 1% that we need to capture. We so far we have seen 1,700 startups, 1,700, and we
Yeah.
have invested in 11. So it's less than 1%. We need to find that team, that the team is like passionate with the purpose, and maybe like the CEO is thinking on purpose, but the CTO and the CSO is thinking on money, and it's the same, right?
Tell me a little bit about so one of the great things about money is money. There's certain things that money can solve, and sometimes one of the joys of money is being able to use it to outsource certain tasks and things that need to get done, so you can reclaim some of your time to make life a little bit easier. Um, Tell me what no matter how much money you have, tell me what you're not going to ever outsource, what you want to continue to be responsible for doing in your life.
Kids, family time for sure, in the personal wise, and in ADN is the investing part, because at the beginning we were analyst, customer success, and investment committee. Now we are outsourcing the sourcing, like how the base of the startups came. But at some point, when we will need to assess a one pager or a memo,
Yeah.
we won't outsource that, because that's the 15 years that we have in venture capital of experience,
Hmm.
and not even AI can understand it. So yes, and in the family, things like picking your son from the school, like you could pay somebody to do it, but it's amazing to have time even with your kids' friends and get to
Yeah.
know them. Yes, those two things.
I love that. I love that. And I don't think that can be outsourced. I mean, I'm a big fan of AI, and there's some things that AI does wonderfully, just like money, but uh, there's some things that thankfully still need that human connection, that human touch. Um, What about um, if I looked at your so obviously the most scarce resource of all is time, right? You can't buy it back, no matter how much money you have. You can't turn back the clock. Um, I'm guessing part of your answer is going to be dad, um, but within the home or within your company, what gives you the highest return on your attention? Not your capital, but on your attention. Said differently, if I looked at your calendar, Diego, instead of your balance sheet, what would it tell me money means to you?
That's a good question. Well, two or three tips or takeaways. First of all, you would see a lot of conversations with other funds, with other GPs, with other investment analysts, maybe five in a week, 5 meetings in a week, 30 minutes each. So you would say like you're talking with a lot of entrepreneurs. Yes, but previously I talked with a lot of VCs that told me, hey, this is a good one. I like this one. Right? So it's a referral business, it's a trust business, and the best referrals usually come from a previous VC or investor that put the conviction on it.
Yeah.
Then another big like block of time in my agenda is the deep work. Sometimes when you have your link, your Calendly link open, you get a lot of meetings, and you don't get a block of time to do what you need to do. Like, I don't know, do a financial model, do a presentation, send emails, respond. You need to block those in your calendar and be responsible with them. Like, not because it's your personal time, you can do whatever you want. No, use the deep work block to work, right? And also you would see one third and one fourth of my week is dedicated to ecosystem, like not exactly ADN. I'm president of Peru Tech Week 2026. That is going to be October 12th here in Lima. So
Mm.
I would like to invite people to come. That's like an ad honorem work and takes me like 5 to 10 hours weekly, but because I'm really
Build the
passionate
community.
about,
Yeah.
yeah, and I'm bringing people from the outside during 1 week where all the entrepreneurs are the top performers are going to be here. So it's like
Yeah.
a good week to come.
Well,
And
tell me
with
about
a
that.
lot.
Give me a special something special or
Sorry.
interesting about the community there in Lima or in Peru that many of the people watching the show may not be aware of. What's something cool that's going on or interesting that um, should make Peru and Lima be on people's radar that if it's not already.
Great again. First, the food. The food is amazing. We have like five top 100 restaurants here. That's one.
Really?
Then sí. Maido, Central, really good ones. Then the amount of entrepreneurs. Our economy is a little bit informal. It's like 60-70% informal. A lot of independent people working for themselves. And we like we are real entrepreneurs. Like, your first job usually is to do a stand or sell something in your blog. Now we need to, in the opportunity side, now we need to shuffle those entrepreneurs towards tech and venture capital.
Mm. Next level up.
Yes, because
Next
it's
level up.
traditional SMEs.
I love that. And I can see that as you describe that that entrepreneurial culture. I know here time is running short, so I'm going to give you ask you one last question here, Diego, before we wrap for today. But I mean, you met a lot of people before you picked that 1%. What is the maybe one or two inner character traits of the people that make a big difference for you when you're ultimately deciding to back them?
Well, you mean like green flags? When I
Good,
see
good,
people
good
and
things.
teams that
Good
are,
things. So not not the business plan, not the economics. So of course you analyze all that, but if you look at the character of the founder, their inside, what if anything are you looking for, or what makes a big difference when you see
well,
that in
it's
a
a
person?
combination. It's a combination of first thrive. You can see a willingness to succeed.
Yes,
Then balance it with humbleness, like to be
mm,
humble enough to.
to
We are
learn.
VCs. We are criticizing a lot. We're asking like, and why this and why that, and how are you going to? So when people get defensive with us, it's like, okay, sorry to attack you, but open it up so we can discuss
Be
about
real.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and most of them, like, they share, they even like show us their numbers, and they open it up. But some 20%, 30%, they get a little bit shrink, and usually, I don't know, they're hiding something, I would say, no, because if
Yeah.
you are happy with what you are building, you would say everything. Another things, the team
What?
is again the team. We are investing in pre-seed, so the solution is not that important because it's going to move and
Change.
change.
Yeah.
The problem, it's important, but you will going to like converge to a different market.
Yeah.
But the team is the pillar. And a team is more than one for me. For ADN, we have just made one solo founder investment because it's a
I love
hard
that.
thing to be an entrepreneur and to do it by yourself, right?
Oh, very, very, very well.
Yes, and I
Great way
have
to
I
look
have
at it.
5 minutes more if you want, Stefan. Another question.
Well, I love the team comment that you made there, Diego, because no matter what you do in life, it takes a team. I mean, building a business is hard. When industries change and you have to adapt, that's hard. Um, so if you can
And
get people focused on
what
the mission, yeah,
and one more. What tends to happen a lot, you have one commander in chief, right? You have
right.
even you have a CEO, a CTO, a CPO, but the CEO is key. And when he is injured with a break a leg or whatever, the company stops. That's not a team. A team is
Mm.
the one that can sustain a startup even when you are sick or traveling.
I love that because you're right, there are a lot of companies where if the CEO goes down, things just stop. And what I discover is that often has to do with a lack of process, a lack of trust in their team, a lack of decentralized decision making authority. Um, and you know, I get that can be scary for some people to let go, but you have to empower your team. You have to let people make decisions. Um, I tell my team, I'd rather you get it wrong or do something differently than the way that I would prefer than everything be held up waiting on me. So and it's a lot more fun because people they think differently than you, right? So people are going to come up with cool ideas that are, they're going to come up with some cool ideas that are better than ideas that you would have had. The beauty of a team. So that's exciting. So you do a lot in fintech, and you know, what are some areas within fintech that are particularly interesting, just at a high level? And are the companies that you're investing in the fintech space primarily focused on serving in Lima, or are they have an eye on regional or even global markets? Give us a little color on what you're doing there.
No, no, thanks for the question. most of them are regional. A couple of them are just working in one country, but usually the big one, Mexico, for example. So far, we don't have a Peruvian investment. We are looking for them. We are coaching a couple of founders. Within fintech, we are really interested in lending, SME lending. We think there's a big opportunity, 50-60% of market that they are not being well served by banks, and they are doing a lot of money and giving jobs. So if we could like support them with the capital, which is not like capital like venture capital, is capital to grow. Is usually is debt that they put a
Real capital.
margin on it. So we're looking at a lot of lending, but through
Yeah.
infrastructure for lending, for underwriting, risk monitoring,
Yeah.
KYC, KYB, those
Yeah.
services that you can sell to financial institutions for them to improve their operations.
Well, I think there's room to improve all around the world, and we should probably organize a fun, you know, get together at some point to convene a panel, a global panel on fintech issues, because it's quite dynamic. A lot of cool things are changing, and would value your perspective there. So, Diego, thank you so much for joining today. I appreciate your opening up and sharing your perspective on the values that matter and how you're navigating wealth and the values in your life, both at home and at work. So thank you again for joining. Be good, and hope you continue to see the success in your venture capital business there, and also in your various community building leadership roles that you serve in.
Amazing. Thanks again for the time, Stefan. Happy to be here. We are just investing our fund one. In 1 year, we will end and we will start raising our fund two. So hopefully we will stay connected. Happy to do that fintech panel globally. I put those of my favorite Peruvian fintechs in the chat, Prestamipe and Happy, and also my LinkedIn and our website.
That sounds great.
So
I'll
if
make sure to add
people
the
are
link so people
interested,
can learn
happy
more
to.
about you. Thank you, Diego.
Amazing. Take care. Bye bye.